Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome to 2023 and welcome to my new car. Before I show you around the car, it's important to do a history check on any used car you're buying. When I bought this Audi, I did a quick car history check on Car Vertical and it showed me all the information I needed to know about the history of the car. Whether it's been stolen, whether it's had a mileage rollback, any historical photos. All I have to do is punch the reg into Car Vertical and it will check marketplaces and information all around the world. So we can see here your car at a glance. The only thing that flags up is finance on the vehicle, but that is from being held in a dealership for a long period of time. It's quite a common thing. So it shows all sorts of history information on the car and also private plate changes and MOT history. We can see that it's not been stolen at any point and there's no mileage rollbacks. That all looks good to me. There's also no damage information, which is good. It shows it's not been involved in any accidents anywhere else in the world. But if we scroll down to photos, we can actually see any photos of the car that have appeared online, and this includes photos of the car for sale. So it shows when it was for sale last, including all the photos that were available on that website. I can also see when the car was for sale when I bought it. So to make sure that you get a good car, use my 10% off code in the description below to check your car with Car Vertical. So here it is then, a 2017 Audi TT Quattro 230. This is the E888 2-litre TSI version. You might be thinking, Dan, you've lost the plot. You've got some GHDs in the back of this and you're going to go and you're going to do some perms and stuff like that. But let me tell you exactly why I've done what I've done and show you around the car. So this model obviously is in a Mythos Black Metallic, which is really nice. And it's got the optional 20-inch alloys, which are the same as pretty much the ones you get on the Audi R8. It does look like a bit of a baby R8. I know that's a bit of a cliche to say, but in this particular spec, I think it really does, especially with the obviously the fuel filler cap there and these alloys. Now, these alloys are an option. They were about £850 from factory. I think they finished the car off really, really nicely. They're obviously slightly different size. They're still 20s, but they're a slightly different width than the ones that you'd find on an R8. But they are pretty much identical in design, which really helps contribute to the overall look of the car, I think. And this is 230 horsepower standard, but it is the IS20 turbo version, so this is basically the same underneath as a Golf GTI. Obviously it's an MQB car, so the platform is the same, the chassis is effectively the same, and it's got that engine which has lots of tuning capability. So I'm thinking over the course of time we're going to be working with some of my partners and garages to get some performance stuff done on this, and obviously visual stuff as well. I want to change this for a TTRS grille. I've already got some black badges to go on. So there's lots and lots of stuff that I want to do and get going. Maybe some splitter side skirts, diffuser. I might even think about changing the rear bumper because I'm not too keen on this exhaust design. So do let me know what you want to see from the car and the channel, because it's going to be sort of probably a slightly longer term project. I'm really happy with it so far. And yeah, it's just a nice little thing. Obviously it's a bit small in terms of the size compared to some of those other cars. The boot is quite generous. You can fold the seats down and have a decent space, actually bigger than a Fiesta in the back here, and obviously quite a practical opening being a hatch. So that's quite handy. I've already swapped out for some Bosch Aero twin blades, as you can see. But yeah, we've got some bits and bobs to go on. I've got sweepy dynamic indicators for it, which is going to be on a video very soon. So that's good stuff. And already coded the spoiler to stay up, which I think does look better, although probably again an aftermarket spoiler to come in the future. But in terms of the baby R8 stuff, I definitely think that extends onto the interior. As you can see in here, Let me just get this to stop beeping. There we go. You've got the sort of R8 style cockpit there. So in actual fact, with these turbine vents and the virtual cockpit, it does look very R8 in there. Now, the good thing about these, it's an optional climate control system. You've got your heated seat controls on there, which is really cool, and you've got the dials in the middle. Everything just feels very nice and very Audi. All the leather's really soft. Alcantara in the seats, which I really like because I prefer that. I prefer that than full leather. And also you've then got some Alcantara that extends onto the doors. The sound system though is probably one of the worst I've heard in a standard car, so I definitely need to do something about that, and hopefully I can partner up with someone. If you've got any suggestions, do let me know in the comments below. But there's no central infotainment screen. It is all done through the virtual cockpit, which is actually alright, it's pretty cool. But in terms of rear seat room, well, good luck basically. If you have no legs, or if you're about 4, then you might be alright, but apart from that, they are a bit of a meme. But do you know what, I have fit people back there that are sort of under 5'5", and they've got on all right for shorter journeys, so it's not the end of the world, to be honest. It could be a lot worse. So I'm gonna actually jump into the car just to show you the sort of the layout from what I can see in here. Now obviously you've got the virtual cockpit system, so if I press the button, turn the car on, you can see that the virtual cockpit shows up. And yeah, it's quite a nice thing. You've got all of your information in there. I'm going to get CarPlay activated. It's all done through the steering wheel controls. You can get Apple CarPlay, you can change the view, and you can get your navigation on here as well. It is pretty cool, but the only thing that I would say is it is a bit strange not having a central screen to get used to, but you do soon get used to it and adapt to it, to be honest. And I actually really like having the control from the steering wheel, which all the buttons, everything in here is just so lovely to touch. Or you've got the console down here, which has your sort of control wheel. It's got a touchpad on top for inputting letters and information, and I just love this center stack here. I mean, look at these climate controls. How gorgeous is that? Everything feels and looks absolutely lush, and yeah, it's just really nice. You've got these kind of like toggle switches here, which are all really nice. I'll go ahead and hit the hazards just so you can see the external lighting as well, accentuated by a Quattro badging on the interior here. Just all looks and feels really, really nice. So let's go ahead and look at that exterior lighting in action. You've got the dynamic indicators at the back, which is really nice. Of course, that's a pretty standard Audi thing nowadays. And you can just kind of hear that exhaust burbling away. Since this is a pre-GPF car, the exhaust does sound pretty fruity from factory, which is nice. So why this and not a Golf R or an S3? I mean, simply put, price. These are actually coming in at a really good value at the moment. And the reason I didn't go for a TTS is because this was too good of a deal with this spec to pass up. And to be honest, in terms of the mods, you can pretty much do the same thing, especially if you're going for like hybrid turbos and stuff like that. How far we'll go with it, I don't know. But I just wanted something that was kind of small, nippy, practical enough for what I'm using it for, reasonable on fuel, but still that I can have a laugh with, have some fun with, and the four-wheel drive Quattro system makes this really rapid. Sub 6 seconds, even standard. It's actually slightly quicker to 60 than the Cupra, even though that had sort of like 70 horsepower more. So once this is mapped and I've got some performance stuff on it, it's going to be really, really quick. So I'm quite excited to see where we go with it in this project. And I don't really need the practicality of a Golf R or an S3, and they're, you know, 5, 6, 7 grand more for a nice one in this with this sort of age, with this sort of spec. So it just made more sense to do this, and I actually think with the right modifications you can really squash the hairdresser image with this car, because I mean, yeah, it's such a common thing for people to say, but once they're modified, I do think they look the part, and it is something just a little bit different. Once it's murdered out and it's got some nice bits on it, I think it's going to be a really nice thing, and I'm quite excited to see where we go with it. It's just a little bit different. Since I've already had 2 Cupras before, I thought if I go for a Golf R, I'm going to be disappointed with the interior quality and the fact that it's quite a lot more expensive to buy. It was either this or an S3. I thought about S3 Saloon, S3 Cabrio, but again, price was a massive factor, and there's not quite as much that I can do with that hasn't already been done to death before. So I just wanted something just that little bit more unique to play around with, and so far so good. So far I'm really enjoying the car. Aside from getting used to the slightly smaller size, it's actually it's fine. It's just something to get used to, and it's my first time kind of having a smaller coupe type car like this. I was kind of worried that I wouldn't enjoy it, but I really like it so far. It's not sort of too low sprung either, so I'm quite happy with how it sits. And the other thing that I was looking at as well is when I started looking at this, so I'm like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing at the moment. I don't know where I am sort of in life in general. So it was kind of a case of I might as well do this while I've got the opportunity, right? Have a small car that's a bit impractical. And I did start looking at other things. Let's say, for example, BMW Z4s, Porsche Cayman, that kind of thing. Porsche Cayman is a lot more expensive than these for similar sort of power. I know it's a more special thing, but I just figured that this is something I'll be able to do a little bit more with. So there we have it, guys. That is my new 2017 Audi TT Quattro. I'm excited to see where this goes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more content with this and some more new car reviews. Bye bye.